Good morning, everyone. My name is Anne, and I help writing coaches get more clients. Every last Tuesday of the month, I take out a half an hour to sit down with you to talk about any questions you have regarding your business, or if you are in need of a pep talk, feel free to join us and I will see how I can help you. These sessions are completely complimentary, so if you like to join us for the next session, feel free to sign up. You will find a link down this video. While we are waiting for our writing coaches to join us, I will dig into the questions some of the writing coaches who could not attend this live session have sent me in. If this is your case, you can't attend the session, but you have a question to ask to me, always feel free to send me your question and I will make sure that I respond to it in the next Q&A session that we have. So let's start with a question from Tom. So Tom asked me if I could go over the systems that I use in my own business. So before digging into the specifics of my systems, I just want to say that this is my own experience. So a system that I will like might not be your favorite. So keep that always in mind. Don't follow blindly any advice regarding systems. I do have one general advice: always use the free version as long as you can, because it will allow you to see what the system already offers you and what you will need on a paying basis or not. So let's dig in. My main system are the Google products. So I use Gmail, G Drive, and Google Meet. I know some people will be shocked by that and say, oh my God, privacy issues, but I just find that the Google products are very easy. They connected with everything. And also I like to use Google Meet since Zoom became paying. Google Meet is a free version, and actually I found it even more efficient and better than Zoom. So yes, absolutely fan of the Google products. Always one big advantage with G Drive is that when I am typing a text, for example, and I have an energy break, what actually happens quite a lot here, I'm sure I haven't lost anything that I was writing down. So yeah, so that's my first system, which is the Google products. Second system is my business management system. So there's a lot out of there, and I personally chose for Dubsado. Again, I'm an absolutely fan of Dubsado. Dubsado really made a difference in my business, in the sense that, to give you a very simple example, I took lots of time previously to write up the contracts, adapt the contracts, and put on the invoice. With Dubsado, that takes me 50 minutes. I just go in the space of my clients, I write up everything, I just have that, and in 10 minutes, it's done. So for me, really, Dubsado has been a life changer. The inconvenience with Dubsado is that there is a learning curve. It's not intuitive, so I followed the Dubsado education. There's also lots of Dubsado coaches out there. I know a very good one if you ever want to work with a Dubsado coach. But if you go to that training, you can already do a lot with Dubsado. I personally think that I'm just using like 10% of Dubsado's features because there's so many things that they have, and I'm sure that it could even more improve my my own workflow. But Dubsado, definitely a system that I can advise you under the condition that you go to the training or that you work with a Dubsado coach, because it is not very intuitive. Another inconvenience is that it's not an email marketing system. And so that brings me to my next system, which is my email marketing system. I use ActiveCampaign. Honestly, I'm not happy about it at all. I found it very clunky. They recently changed their templates and asked me if I wanted to be one of the trial users. Except that it just means that I have to redo all of my templates because they don't export it. I mean, it is very, very clunky and not intuitive. Client service is not ideal as well. I sometimes have to re-ask my questions a couple of times before I get an answer. And then a thing that annoys me more and more is the branding. Even though I'm a paying client, I still need to do with their branding on an ongoing basis. So all of that makes that I'm really not a big fan of Active Campaign. The only reason I'm still with them is because I paid until the end of the year. But you can be sure that at the end of the year, I will change my email marketing system. Another system that I will probably change is Thinkific. So I had an online school as a networking coach. That online school has been put on pause, and so for that online school I use Thinkific, and I have a bit the same comments as I have with Active Campaign in the sense that it's clunky, it's not intuitive. I did the training, but still there's things that I can't change. There again, I found whenever you want something specific, it's again, you have to pay for it. So I'm not a big fan from Thinkific as well. I am on a trial with Podia. So all honesty, I just started using it, but it seems a good competitor. So it's very easy of use. I didn't do any training with Podia, and I could very easily understand how it works. Client service is great as well. Even I'm like just on a trial version, I get a lot, like they almost respond immediately to all of my concerns. And Podia has a big advantage, which is that it is an online school plus an email marketing system. But again, I'm just starting to use it, so I don't know how this will evolve. But it seems a good replacement for both Thinkific and Active Campaign in my case. And then a last system I use that is for my website, and that is WordPress. I absolutely love WordPress as well, but again, there's a learning curve. I did again a training to get used to WordPress, but the big advantage I feel with WordPress is that the sky is the limit. You can literally do everything with a WordPress website. It's just a question of plugging in your plugins. I was not someone who coded or was really familiar with plugins and the whole thing. But honestly, now it's so exciting that when you go on your WordPress website and you have something in mind and you can actually put it in there, well, that I have started to do some coding and get into plugins. And yeah, the actual last system, and that is Zoom. So I still use Zoom for these calls, just simply because I haven't figured out yet how I can record with Google Meet. But also because everybody uses Zoom, and I'm not trying to destabilize too much people who come up. Google Meet sometimes it can be a little bit destabilizing if people are not used to it. So that's the only reason I use Zoom. I will put links to all of the systems down the video. And again, if you have a question or you want any other feedback, feel free to let me know and I will be happy to help you out. A second question comes from Liesbeth. So Liesbeth has a question regarding the last email that I sent out to my email list. And this was about disaster-proofing your business. So in this video, I'm talking about how to set up an emergency plan. So I'm talking that month of May, I had a couple of issues. I had to pull out of my business, but luckily I had put in place an emergency plan to help me bridge over the time that I could not be in my business. And so in this video, I talk about having a second business coach on hand. So what happened is that when I had these emergencies, I called a business coach colleague to come in and help with my coachees in case they had something urgent to deal with and that I wasn't able to help them out. Now, I didn't have to use the business coach, but the fact to have her on standby was really helping me with my mental health, so that I could focus on what was more important and not stress out that maybe one of my clients was having an emergency and that I couldn't help my client at that point. And so Liesbeth's question was, well, she had actually two questions, is one, how did I found someone who was willing to do this? And the secondly was if I was not afraid of losing my clients if I let them work with another business coach. So first question, how do I find such a coach? Networking. So I think it's important in every job or every profession you do that you network and that you get in contact with people who do the same thing like you. Not as something negative or to figure out what your competitor is doing, but just to exchange experiences, to learn from each other, and also to have that support. You can always have your business coach, but it's always good to have someone who is exactly going through the same thing as you do on a daily basis. And again, it is great to have someone, if you have a really good connection with that person, it's great that you can train that person to jump into your business if there's an issue. You can't plan anything, and I feel it's really important that you have that support. So I would say networking, have a conversation also with that person if she has the same values like you, and check with that person if she is happy to use your methods. So the business coach that I asked to jump in, she would have used my methods, done my way of doing, go into my system. So it would have been a different person, but it would still have been the same methodology. Regarding your second question, if I'm not afraid of losing clients to another coach, listen, my idea is that there's enough space for all of us coaches. There's one thing that you can't duplicate or take over, and that is the personality of the coach. So in this case, this business coach has a different personality than I have. It doesn't mean that there is no risk that the clients would go to that other coach, but most people will choose you for your personality, and then in the second step, it will be for your method of what you bring. Now, should that person choose for that other coach, I would just be more, of course, I would be a little bit disappointed. Let's face it. let's be honest here. But then I also would have a conversation with my client and maybe discover that the personality of this other coach is more fitting for that client than it is for me. So it is always, I don't see it as losing a client, but rather offering an extra service to the client, even of course I wouldn't be super happy about it. But again, we are all very different. We all have our different personalities. So if a client chooses another coach rather than me, there's not much I can do about that, I think. So I hope that this has answered your question. We have another question from Mary. So Mary had a client who has paid a full package of 10 sessions. She has done 2 sessions with this writing coach, and now she has no news whatsoever from her client. So Mary has already chased a couple of times her client, and she is asking me what she should do. Should she stop chasing her client? Should she continue? Listen, Mary, your client is an adult. She paid her entire package. You send out a couple of emails. It's not up to you to continue chasing. Of course, it's disappointing because you don't know what is happening, but keep in mind, lots of things might be happening. Maybe it can be that she's sick, or that she got an accident or something like that, and that maybe she doesn't even have access to her computer. So in that case, I suspect that you will have news in a couple of weeks, months. So at that point, it's up to you to see what you do with this package. Do you continue the package? Do you switch off the package? Do you end the package? Another situation, it can be that your client is maybe just discouraged or doesn't just realizes that this is not the right time for her, or this is not something that she's very interested in. So at that point, there's not much more than you can do that when you already have done. Again, never forget that you're dealing with adults. So she paid her entire package. You got somehow your compensation. I know it's very frustrating to have this kind of clients. I personally never had it, but I did do it once with a writing coach. I paid her and I just stopped going because I thought that the coaching, it was a group coaching. It was a little bit too violent and aggressive for me, and let's face it, also very disorganized. And so I effectively pulled out completely, not saying anything to her. But then I also, it's like, I just also, okay, you know, I paid you, so that's it. I don't want to continue. So maybe this is also what's happening with your writer. You can't really know. But in conclusion, you did what you could do. I know it's frustrating. Leave it aside and focus on your current clients. If your writer client pops up at one point or another, then you can see at that point what you want to do with her and the package. You want to continue working with her or not. But so don't worry about it. Don't fret about it. Maybe it's you, maybe it's not you. You don't know. It's always very difficult to say in this situation. And in any case, again, she's an adult. She paid her package. Go on to other things. I hope that this helped. Please let me know if you need more information, and I will happily help you out. And then we have a last question from Lisa. And so Lisa has a question regarding time management. So what should I focus on a daily basis? So I don't know how you organize your week or your agenda, but what I advise you to do is to plan on a longer basis. So for example, you have your objectives for a year, then you plan on 3 months, then you plan on a month, and then from a month you go to a week, and on a week you do it quite detailed. So that means that when you arrive at your computer at 9 o'clock, for example, you switch on your computer, that you have a precise list of what you need to do. Now, I know that can be a little bit frightening for lots of people to have such a detailed planning. So if you're like someone who likes to do it more on a day-to-day basis, I would say when you come to your computer, make up a list of your tasks that you have to do that day. And then you're going to pick out your list, the task in function of 4 criteria. So the first criteria is it going to advance your sales? It's great to have clients, but you want to make sure that your sales funnel continues to bring in new people. So check if one of these tasks is going to help you to advance your sales. Second is going to see, is there a task that advances your marketing? Again, this is a little bit linked to the first point. It's good to have ongoing clients, but you want your sales funnel to continue to be filled up with new people. So for that, you need to set up your marketing. So that are the 2 tasks that I would really focus on primarily. And then a third task is going to be your current clients. Is this something you need to do with your current clients? If there's appointments or that kind of thing. So see in your task if this is going to help you, third point. And then the fourth point is going to be administration. So administration is, for example, empty your email box. If there's nothing particularly urgent in that email box, keep that until the end. So in a nutshell, if you get to your computer, you have your to-do list, you're going to focus, you're going to classify your task in function of 1, sales, 2, marketing, 3, clients, 4, administration. I hope this is going to help you. Again, if you have another question or if you want me to help you with something, feel free to let me know and I will be happily helping you out. Okay, if there are no other questions, then I'll, no other questions. I will close the business clinic for this month. So the next business clinic is on the 3rd of August. So last Tuesday of the month. If you can't attend that one, but you have a question, feel free to send me a message. Otherwise, you can sign up below this video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.